Hello, my loves, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about I would say, a lesser manifestation of Mama Muerte that I don't see too many people touch on. So, I'm going to talk about this one. Um, and before we get started, I just want to give so much thanks and appreciation to those who have subscribed, who do communicate with me, who talk to me, who come to me for guidance or even ask questions about certain things. Because when you first start working with Mama Muerte, it's nice to have a community. And she has a very big community. You can see it in documentaries. You can pull her up on YouTube. You can pretty much pull her up anywhere and or go anywhere and you will see La Muerte, right? You will see her. How much people have love for her and how many people not only devote themselves to her but work with her as well. So first off, thank you. Second, I'm just here to kind of just share the word and guide and help and assist and do anything that I can. If you have questions, as always, please leave them in the comment section or whatever the case is. I will try my best to get to them as soon as I can, and I'm usually pretty quick. But today we're going to talk about La Niña Violeta, which is the purple manifestation of La Santa Muerte. So this one was actually gifted, and it's not mine. Um, I have another devotee in my house, so she is everywhere. You walk into you will know. You will know when you walk in. But this one is actually fixed, and does a fixed statue? Is there any difference between a fixed statue and a non-fixed statue? What I will say is, if La Muerte is with you, you will know she is with you. She's going to come in your dreams. She's going to make herself known. I initially, when I first started to work with her, and when she came to me, it was not through dreams at first. I knew her presence, like there was an unknown presence around, but people were gifting me stuff with La Santa Muerte on it. I've always been, I love skulls. This was one of my first tattoos that I got of a skull. And I'm talking about this was many moons ago. This was such a long time ago. So I've always had death in a positive aspect or sense around me in some way. But this was actually gifted. I've gotten like a deck of cards. It's been a bunch of different ways that she was trying to make her presence known. And then she came in through meditations, then she was coming through dreams. And that's how I knew, like, okay, she is around. How do I get to work? But this specific manifestation is used for psychic. So psychic development, psychic protection, anything that has to do with the psychic senses, your third eye, right? So if you're being attacked, if you are not being able to dream, or if you just want to connect on a deeper level to your third eye and to your psychic senses, this is the manifestation that you will want to go to and that you will want to work with. Um, it's purple. So the when I started bringing up fixed statues and unfixed statues, if she's around, she's going to make her presence. Of course, when it comes to fixed items, there's always going to be a potency that comes with it versus a non-fixed item that you will still be able to work with that manifestation. It doesn't mean that you can't, but non-fixed items, they will still allow her to be venerated or allow you to still work with her. It's just it won't be as potent as a fixed item. What I will say is, as someone who has non-fixed statues and fixed statues, they still work the same to me. But you have to remember, when it comes to crafting, there will be some level of potency. However, with this little statue and this fixed, it's very powerful. Um, and I even have tiny little ones that were gifted to me as well when I went to her church. By the owner of the church, gave me these tiny little statues that I ended up bringing home with me on a trip. And I'm going to talk about that trip. It was a trip to New Orleans, and that trip is basically what spiraled me into my spiritual like workings and working with certain spirits, especially more so leaning my craft into the dead. Um, Now, how will you work with La Niña Violeta, or the purple aspect or robe of La Santa Muerte? Like I mentioned, let's say, for example, the first time I did a working for her was for someone else, and they weren't having dreams anymore. They felt cloudy. They couldn't remember anything. They were forgetful. Their third eye was blocked. It was being attacked. They were under a psychic attack. And when you're under a psychic attack, you might either be having nightmares or bad dreams. You might not be able to divine correctly, which you're doing cards, you're throwing bones, whatever it is that you do for your divination. Whether you're doing crystallomancy or reading a crystal ball and you're blocked and you can't connect with it, this is the manifestation that you want to work with. So you will grab a purple candle and you will fix it with whatever herbs you feel are necessary to be able to do your craft and to do your work. After you fix the candle, you will just simply say a prayer over it, asking for any blocks to be removed when you're doing this. And I'm just using that as an example because you can definitely use this manifestation for anything that has to do with the psychic development, right? You will just fix the candle appropriately. Remember, mugwort is a very amazing blue lotus, mugwort. Those are the mullein leaf. Those are the ones that you want to go to when you're fixing a candle with anything that has to do with the psychic senses. And then you will put your intention into it. I always say that when you are doing your craft, you can have the most magnificent statues and candles or whatever the case is, but if you're not putting intention in, it's just not the same. Intention means everything when you're doing crafting or when you're doing work or when you're healing or when you're removing. Intention is key. So you're putting that into the candle and then you burn it. Now, some common things you will see once you're burning that candle, if you're removing anything that's a spiritual or psychic entity, something that or parasite that's blocking your connection to your third eye, you are going to see black on that candle. You are going to see whatever it was removed. Now, I personally would run another purple one and light it with a white candle. The white candle is just going to balance it out. I'm going to offer a little bit of protection while you're doing that. But I would definitely run another one. If there is like tar colored soot that is on the top of the candle. Now, if the candle burns, it's a little bit of soot at the top. It's just letting you know, hey, we captured whatever it is, that was on you. You should be good now. And then your dreams, everything should start coming back. I always recommend doing a head cleanse or a head wash, keep it refreshed because those kind of attacks are horrific if you have experienced them. But this is actually the best manifestation of La Santa Muerte to use. I always say, think of these coat and robe colors as candle working. When you're working specific candles, if you're doing money, you're not going to use a blue candle for money, or you're not going to use, like a purple candle for money. That's going to be leaning more towards psychic senses. Anything that has to do with psychic blocks or attacks, you're going to want to lean towards purple. That is the color of the third eye. It is the color of your intuition or anything that's connected to the psychic senses. But here she is, La Niña Violeta, and she's such a beautiful manifestation of coat to work with. If you do not have it, you can always use any of the traditional 3-robe colors, maybe like negra for something if you know you're being attacked, to remove that, or just have an image. The image works as well, little cards, and they sell those at the Botanica everywhere. And you'll be shocked how easy it is to find those prayer cards with her robe colors, or you can even do the 7-robe colors as well, which I had. That was the first La Santa Muerte I got because I was like, I just want to be able to do all kinds of work. And I bought like a small, tiny little rainbow color La Santa Muerte statue because then I can work with all the colors. So you can do that as well. But like I mentioned, any questions that you have, you could just place it in the comment section below. But thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you so much. I love you. And I'll talk to you soon.